ready to celebrate Thanksgiving with family and our friends. We haven't really made our plans yet, so we'll see how things go. I'll let you know after next week. So no lunch with Laura next week, but we will continue after that and get ready for Christmas. Speaking of Christmas, look at this precious card I came up with. And I have to say, I did this. Well, I kind of saw something that I think someone had done, but I'm going to explain it to you and show you. You know how we always wind up with these scraps, little scraps, big scraps, all of these that are different sizes. And they're so pretty, you just hate to get rid of them. So this is a solution to getting rid of some of your scraps. What I have done is I've cut my straps. Let me tell you, we're going to do a different, this pattern paper from Stampin' Up! Was an older one, I believe, last year's. And I tried it with this and I like the way it came out. So this year, and this time on this card, I'm going to be using our Lights Aglow paper. And it is all this gorgeous paper with all the colors that I love. It has Cherry Cobbler, Evening Evergreen, Soft Succulent, Very Vanilla, Basic Black, and Gold. And I'm just realizing I needed vanilla instead of white on this card. And we will get that taken care of right quick. We have, let me show you how pretty this is. You know, it's double-sided and it's already cut 6 by 6. So when I flip through, you can see the pretty patterns that they have. Now one side has gold on it and the other side does not. So if you're not a sparkly bling person, I can't believe there are people out there that are like that. I'm not. But anyway, you can take your pick. So what we're going to do is use a card base of 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. I'm going to take my bone folder. And then, let's see, I'm going to use, for the part that the Christmas tree is on, it's going to be measured at 3 by 5. So I'm going to take this and trim it down. I was thinking I was doing white again, but there's vanilla in this, which is nice because there isn't in a lot of our paper recently. So 3, and my little cutter doesn't go all the way to 5, so I'm going to do a little tick mark, and I'm just going to cut off 1/4 of an inch. We're going to guesstimate here. And I'm going to try to do this without cutting fingers or fingernails. Okay. And I'm also going to need 2 strips. They're about 1/2 inch wide by 5 that will go down the sides. And if I need to trim it off, I will. And it looks like I'll need to do that. And then we have the scraps that I've already cut out. Now, here is a piece of vellum. So this is what you need for the card. Your card base, your card layer that's going to go on top with the 2 strips of gold. Then you're going to have vellum, and this is what I am mounting my strips on. And a good reason to do them at 5.5 inches, I'm sorry, at 1/2 inch, is so that you can use your snail adhesive, I still call it snail, your seal adhesive on it. And so what I'm going to start doing is placing. And the template that we're going to be using is from the Brightest Glow set, and it's the texture, Twinkling Lights is the DSP. So these were the dies in that set. This one is an outline, and that's what I'm going to use. And if you want to, you can just put this up under to kind of give you an idea of where your paper should go. So I definitely need this little piece at the top. And I'm going to take one of my silicone mats. And it might be a good idea for you to go ahead and lay it out the way you want it to be. And you're going to put them about 1/8 of an inch apart. And I wanted the red to kind of be spaced out since most of it is green. Okay, and then if we need this piece, we can put that in. And I'm going to move this around and put that there. Okay, and we may need this one at the bottom. So let's see how it goes. And I'm just going to, the silicone mat is great if you want to get your seal start rolling. Okay, and I'm gonna put the next one. Like I said, I'm spacing them about 1/8 of an inch apart. Oops. Now, you know, when you go to use vellum, it can be a difficult time to kind of think about the using adhesive on it because it shows through. So this way, we're putting the adhesive on top, and it shouldn't bother anything. Oops, there we go. And I think I'm going to save, yeah, we can do that. All right, I'm going to put that there. And I am going to go ahead and put this, we may not need it when I go to cut it out, but we'll see. Okay. Okay, so this is what it looks like when you've got it. And see how the adhesive shows on the vellum? So you have to be crafty when you come up with how to hide that. Now I'm going to bring my little mini cut and emboss machine over here. I just love this little guy. And I'm going to trim this so that it will go through. So this was just a 1/4 sheet, and you don't really need that much. So I'm going to trim it so it'll go through. Probably about 3.5 would have been fine. Okay, now I'm going to put my die on top, and I want to be sure to get the top and the bottom. And to make that little guy stay still, I'm going to use a little bit of tape. Okay, so let's run him through. And look how cute. Isn't that darling? Okay, now I'll put this aside. We're going to need the little machine again when I cut out the banner. It's a shame to have to throw that away, isn't it? Okay, now we have our card base. And we have our little piece that's going to go here. And I want to attach these just so about 1/4 of an inch is showing on each side. So I'm going to turn this over. I don't know why I turn it over, but I always do. And I'm just going to put a line of the seal right down both edges. Then, and I'm doing this on my silicone mat so that it doesn't get on my paper. Now I can already see I'm going to have to do a little bit of trimming, but that's okay. Just make sure one end is even. And then do the other side. And there we go. So I'm just going to bring my little trimmer over and just trim that off. You can use scissors if you want to. Okay. Let's see, that one needs just a teeny bit more. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and just adhere this down with my seal. I'm just going to do it right in the middle of the card. Now, next we're going to put our little Christmas tree on. And I want it to be popped up. You know how I love to use dimensionals. So I've got these over here. And I am going to try to make sure that they are on the, where you can't see it showing through. I mean, somebody would have to have binoculars on to find where you overlapped, but anyway, I like to do that. For some reason, one side didn't come off. Okay, and I'm going to put one more in the middle, and then I think I've got some minis around. They're never where I need them to be. So what we're going to do is just cut a little teeny piece. No, don't forget to use all of this outside. They don't have to be pretty and octagon shaped or sextagon or whatever they are. Okay, and I'm going to put it on the top. And I saw a tip from on stage that was this past weekend where a lady had taken her sheet of dimensionals before it was used and just took a marker all over it so that she could tell where she had, if she had picked up off all the backs to it. I guess that's pretty clever, isn't it? Okay, so now we've got our dimensionals down holding our tree. And I did a little star. There was a little bitty die. Let me show you what it looks like. That in this set of dies, we're using the outline, but look how cute this is. I'll have to do a card and show you how that comes out. But we've got some snowflakes, little designs, and then I decided this was the star. So I'm going to put just a little bit of our dimensionals on that. And I mean it needs to be little, probably half of one of the minis. Or you could use liquid glue. Oops, where did it go? There it is. And stick that right up there. Okay, now we need to do our bow and our Merry Christmas. So let's do our Merry Christmas first. And we're going to use, this die comes from the Christmas banners set. And it was right here, but there are 3 different banners. There's greenery that you, or little designs that you could do, mistletoe. So I'm going to take this die, and I got the, let's see, all of these words are separate. So I found Merry Christmas, and the beauty of the photopolymer is that you can curve them. I don't know how well you can see that, but I bent it just a little bit, and I kept stamping until I got it like I liked it and wanted it. And I'm about to do that on a piece of white again. Okay, let's see. That's not going to be quite big enough. Okay, so there we go. Now, I embossed this, and I did it in color so that you could see it there. And the way you do that to make your color, if you don't have color in embossing, I could have done this in gold, but I wanted to do it in the red to make that pop out from the colors behind it. So I'm going to take and use, this is Versamark, and this is like a watermark pad. So I ink that up with the Versamark first, and then this one, I just want to make sure it's good and inked up. And remember that when you are putting stamp to ink, you don't want to mash on our pads. They're foam, and they will give you a halo, which is a mark around that you don't want. Okay, now I am going to bring this over to my little tray. This tray is back in the catalog, along with the embossing buddy. I think you get a brush and some tweezers. I forgot what they call these kind, but they're the kind that you open by pressing. As you can tell, mine is from a long time ago. Okay, I'm just going to bring this over out of the camera sight so that I can emboss it, although it's so cool. Let me let you watch. And as that melts, it just gets darker and the powder goes away. Okay, now I'm going to take my banner, and let's see if I can get this through my little sheet. I can't. I'm going to have to turn it and do it sideways. Let's do that right quick. Oops. And if you don't clean between, your Versamark turns like that, but it won't matter because it will cover up. I mean, it still stamps the same. Okay. Let me do this one right quick. If I am embossing a whole bunch of things and I'm doing heat embossing, I will do maybe 6 cards at a time, cover them all with the powder and set them aside, and then kind of work in a line so that I'm doing everything at the same time rather than, you know, putting the stuff on, heating it up, cutting it out. I do all of my embossing, then I cut it out, and that takes care of that. Now I do need to trim this. Wasn't thinking ahead today. It's been kind of a crazy day, so if I sound a bit off, I guess I am. Okay, now I'm just going to put down, center that, put down a piece of my tape. And we will run this through. I love working at my desk sometimes with my little mini cut and emboss machine. I have the other one not far away, and when I'm doing other projects, of course, I use it, but this works out sometimes great for my lives. Okay, that came out good, and I'm going to take my little sponge dauber and ink it up and just go around. I think I need some new sponge daubers. Okay, so that just gives it a little more dimension there. Now, again, I'm going to use some dimensionals to pop it up, but I'm going to put it on the ends so that it's not too thick over the tree. And let me put my, I keep a little magnetic board around so that you can use your dies and not lose them, hopefully. And I'm going to cut a couple more of these. Let's put that there. I feel like we need some Christmas music on. For some reason, this particular page, the bottom didn't come off, but now I got it. Okay, and I'm going to put it around right there. Now, I wanted to show you a trick I learned last night at my friend, who's another demonstrator in Washington, Linda Heller, and she showed me how to fancy up this little bitty ribbon. The ribbon that I'm using is the gold that's in the big catalog, and of course I've covered it up. And what I'm going to do is cut it in half right between those little gold lines. This is about 12 inches, and I'm just going to carefully go and cut it all the way down. It just gives a little bit more delicacy to the I guess you could say, to the ribbon, and for it being where I'm going to put it on the top of the tree, you can see how it, and it kind of looks like those fancy trees that you see in the mall or the stores or whatever that have the ribbons at the top, and then the legs are all flowing down. That's what I call it, the part that doesn't make the bow. Now, all you're going to do is do a bunny, what I call a bunny ear bow. So you're going to get that piece, make your two little ears and go around and through the hole. Pull it tight, and then you can adjust to make the bow as large or small as you want it. So that's going to be about the way I want it. And I'm going to use a dimensional, and I'm going to kind of roll it up so that it kind of makes like a little bitty log. And then I'm going to put the ribbon on top and put it right under the star. That star is kind of wonky. Maybe that's better. Okay, so now I've got my little ribbon there. And I'm just going to trim off a little bit of the ribbon legs and try to make them hang down. And there you have the outside of your card. Isn't that easy and quick? And you use up some of the supplies you hate to throw away. Now let's see, for the inside of the card, actually I'm going to do my stamping first. And it says Merry Christmas on the outside. So let's see. May the peace of the season light your world, and may your new year be the brightest. I think I like that because it covers New Year's too. Let's see if that's the one. And it is. We have another demonstrator friend, and she does a Facebook Live. I think she calls it On the Fly, and that's kind of the way this one's been, and I apologize. But it's kind of been a crazy week. Okay, and I am going to test this out before I put it on my card. Okay, looking good. Ink it up real good. And I love using my centering mat so that you can get an idea of where it's going to be. And when you look left, right, up, and down, that gives you an idea of how it's going to be. Okay, and that looks pretty good. I'm going to adhere this. And there you have it. Now there are other little stamps in here if you wanted to add some color in here, or you could use one of your pieces, and I think that's what I'll do right there. We'll trim that off. That should be about right. Let's see. There it is. And that just gives it a little pop inside to draw attention there. And you've still got plenty of room to write your message. So Merry Christmas. May the peace of the season light your world, and may your heart be the brightest. I made that up. And may your new year be the brightest. Okay, so we used vellum to adhere our scraps. Then after they are adhered to the vellum, cut it out with the die, popped it up on vanilla, trimmed with a little bit of gold, added a gold star, some ribbon, and there you have it. Now, I wanted to remind you that our special is still going on for the fitting florets. Now, this is available until January the 4th. If you get the whole suite, you get the 2 stamp sets, which is the Christmas one, and then the framed florets, the dies, you get some gold swirls, and the designer series paper. Now, I wanted to draw your attention to this. This stamp set and set of dies will be in the new catalog, but only the framed florets and those dies, not the festive, because those are Christmas and they didn't put them in. And also the DSP, if you like that, which I really think is pretty, you need to grab that while you can. And speaking of, if you'll go to my website, Stampin' at the Bird Nest, you will see that I put up a notice yesterday about the sale that is going on through tomorrow. Y'all check this out. There is a ton of stuff on sale. Good prices. You can make Christmas cards, think Christmas gifts, anything that you don't have enough of. Maybe you need more ink colors, or I'm looking at the embossing folders because I'm low on those. So anyway, take a look there. Remember that I have a host code, so when you go to order, let's see if I can get that in. There's my information. The host code is right here. It's also on my website, stampinatthebirdnest.com, and my email, tubobette@gmail.com. But if you'll go to Stampin' at the Bird Nest, everything that you need is right there, and you can get in touch with me and place your orders. Thanks for watching. Have a great Turkey Day. See you after Thanksgiving. Love you. Bye.